so I noticed that architecture student hacks part 1 was fairly popular among you students, and the purpose of this channel is to help those of you out there who are really struggling with architecture school, because I struggled in architecture school. I struggled real hard, so I'm making these videos to help you guys out there who are struggling. So let's get into the video, guys. Technique number 1. So I call this technique the rubber band around 2 ball pen line weights. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so what you need is 2 of your most used line weights. For me, I have a 0.8 and a 0.1 micron. So what you do is you put your pens opposite each other and then wrap or tie them around with the rubber band. Okay, so what this technique does is it reduces the time that you spend looking for the other tech pen, because it's, you know, when you're just writing, it's just there. So you just flip it on the other side and then voila, your pen is just in your hand. So probably gonna save you a couple of precious minutes, or in my case, precious hours looking for your ball pen, because a bunch of times I often lose my tech pens and spend, you know, hours looking for it. This technique is specifically invented to avoid that situation. So yeah, moving on. Alright guys, so technique number 2. So this technique number 2, I call this the candle technique. So what you are going to need is a candle, most preferably a white candle or like a transparent candle. One of the uses that I found for the candle is putting a little bit of wax on the corner of your paper before taping it into the drafting board. So by applying wax to the corners of your paper or your drafting plate, you avoid the situation where you put the tape on the corners and then after drafting you remove it and a huge chunk of the paper comes with the tape. So yeah, that's what the wax does. It saves your paper. I should call this like the candle paper saving technique, but it's too late to rename the technique now. I already said the name. Anyways, moving on to the second use of the candle. Technique number 3. This is just a continuation of the candle wax technique or the candle technique. What did I call technique number 2? I forgot. Anyways, so I use this technique when I am using watercolor. So what I do is I draw a couple of streaks in the windows. Okay, so this couple of streaks of wax on the windows won't be touched by the watercolor because of the hydrophobic properties of the candle. Hydrophobic, I know that sounds super scientific. I just googled it a while ago. Watercolor doesn't usually stick to those parts, creating the illusion that there is glare or, you know, some sort of reflection on the windows in your perspective rendering. Alright, moving on to tip number 4. Alright guys, technique number 4. So I call this technique the perspective hack technique. I don't know why I did a bunch of karate. I don't even know karate. Anyways, this technique is another one of my forbidden jiu-jitsu techniques. So don't share this to your teachers or to your classmates who you do not like. Actually, just share this to your classmates. Sharing is caring. Anyways, moving on. So this technique is specially used when you are doing perspectives. For this technique, you are going to need 2 rulers, a roll of masking tape, and a couple of thumbtacks, and maybe a couple of tiny binder clips. Okay, so here's what you do. You get your masking tape right here and then stick it to your skin or your clothes or your forehead. If your forehead's really oily, just do this. You might look really stupid to your classmates while you're doing this, but you know, when they see what you are going to do afterwards, their mind's gonna like gonna explode. Okay, anyways, anything that looks stupid but works is not stupid. Moving on. So what that does is it removes a little bit of abrasiveness from your tape. It makes your tape basically less sticky, so that when you apply your tape onto the drafting plate, it won't stick so much and it won't rip your drafting plate. So after that, put the thumbtacks on the sticky side of your tape and then mount the thumbtacks and tape on your drafting plate, making sure that the tip of the thumbtacks is aligned with your vanishing points. Now that you've done that, take your masking tape and then tape a couple of flappy things on the edges of your ruler. Okay, after doing so, you can now mount your rulers onto the thumbtacks on your plates. So now that you've mounted this on your plate, now you can do whatever you want to do with your perspective. Okay, so what these rulers are is they serve as projection lines from your vanishing points. So what this does is it eliminates the time spent aligning your drafting tools to the vanishing points and aligning it again. You know, all that sorts of stuff that I really hated when doing perspectives. I eliminated those by this technique. Okay, Leon, what if I needed to do like a freehand perspective technique? I got you, fam. Okay, so here's what you do. Get some fairly long dental floss, like 35cm long dental floss, and then just tie the dental flosses onto the edges of your thumbtacks. Also, don't forget to put binder clips on the thumbtacks because you might stab your hand on the thumbtacks. Yeah, don't forget that. Anyways, what this does is it again serves as projection lines from your vanishing points, thus eliminating the need to use straight rulers.